So we are officially one night away from draft day. It's been what a long 2.5 months. I'm ready to just look. Just let's make the damn pick. I'm on edge. My hands are shaking. I'm just ready for this shit to be over with. Because I mean, we've been trying to say, hey, should we do this? Should we pick this? Who should we do with this pick? Should we trade back? Should we do all it? Man, let's just stop and just get it over with. So when you hear this sound, we just ready to make the pick because we about finished, we've been talking about this shit for too long. So without further ado, man, let's get straight to it.
What's up, this D-List, man? Check out Off the Bench anytime you get a trade.
Hey, Off the Bench, it's 89. Check it out.
What up? What's good? What's happening? It's your boy Big Herb, and welcome to another episode of Off the Bench. We're on the road to 1,000 subs. So before we go any further, you already know what to do. Hit that like, comment in the comment section with all the topics we're gonna be talking about today. Hit that subscribe button, and don't be afraid to hit that bell so you could be abreast of what's next on Off the Bench. So we got another we got another guest this week, and man, by far he's one of my favorite guys to come on in. So without further ado, let's get straight to it. A second. All right. So this guy has over 30.6 million, 6,000 subscribers. We want him to get to 1 million subscribers. He's a quarter of the Commander Kings. He's been pretty good as far as that pause button as of late. So we gotta give him credit with that. Don't get him too drunk because he could go by Louie Tee. So let's give it up for the homeboy Louie Tee from Louie Tee Network. What's good, my guy?
What's good? What's good? Hey, you had me weak on that introduction, man. Oh man, that was funny. Hey, I'm very appreciative of the kind words, and glad to be here on the show, man. Looking forward to, like you said, this draft getting underway. We've been talking about the same stuff, it feels like, over and over again now for the last 2-3 weeks. So at this point now, I'm just ready for it to get underway.
Yeah, man. It's the redundancy has been kicking our ass for the last month, I say, at this point, because I mean, after the free agency week and a half, there's really nothing to talk about other than the same thing over and over. And it's just like, hey, can we make this thing tomorrow? Like, fast forward up until like 8 o'clock, and just because I mean, we gonna get later on into what your day is gonna be like tomorrow. So I mean, but let's just get straight to it right in a second. So for starters, homie, I gotta ask, man, what do you think about them uniforms, man?
So initially, when we were trying to predict what it would look like, if with the new logo would be all of that stuff, the alt logo, I was like, yeah, this is gonna be all. I remember feeling like Nike was gonna knock it out of the park. I thought they were gonna do a tremendous job with the uniforms, but I wasn't sure about the alt logo, what it was gonna look like. And then when we got the little sweater that came out with the logo on it, was like, oh, that's nasty, but then when they dropped the video and everything came out, it all tied together, and I was blown away by the alt uniforms. The Hellraisers are exactly that. They're dope, and I'm a big purist, so I was so glad to see the championship eras come back. Felt like that was the right thing to do there, and then to bring the Hellraisers in as like kind of the link that joins the past to the present. I thought that was pretty dope.
Yeah, because I'm a jersey guy, but I've gotten to the point where it's just like, instead of just getting this person that's gonna be here for about like a year or two, they may be a star or whatever. I know if I get my name on the back of that joint, he ain't going nowhere. So I mean, so it's always dope to get that. But I'm gonna have to go ahead and get those definitely those Hellraiser unis, because that I ain't even gonna lie, that joint crispy as fuck.
Yeah,
And I mean, and man, we need to go and get you your own jersey too, man. Y'all get Louie Tee on the back, or what? Get Louie Tee, whichever one. We need you to get yours, man, because I know you're not really a jersey guy.
Hey, I'm not. And y'all probably gonna see Louie Tee tomorrow night.
Oh, it's most that it's going that you're going that biggest Herbert, so on my end as well. So
yeah.
I ain't gotta go to work. I ain't gotta go to work. I'm gonna be free. I'm gonna be acting the ass. So I mean, we gonna have a vibe tomorrow.
I love it.
But before we go any further, let's look at these comments real quick. Shout out to the homegirl Case Tate. Yay, yes, let's go. We got Rockman in the building. He gave us the thumbs up. Big
Rockman.
E.
Shout out to K.
Says, what's good, Herb? Bro, real quick, my best bud is on a delusional hurts is an elite court. You know what? We gonna stay positive over here, because like I have a feeling Howie Roseman has something up his sleeve tomorrow, and I'm gonna go ham and and I'm just gonna go ahead and just worry about our team right this second.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say those Eagles fans are Delulu, so we gonna pray for them, because I mean I got some stuff that I could really.
We trying to keep the good. We trying to keep the good vibes and the karma.
I'm trying so hard. Oh man, so but yeah, let's get into the next one. All-season workout started the other day, and I gotta go ahead and say, man, it's like a breath of fresh air, and we only talking about practice.
Yep.
Not the game, not the game.
But practice.
Let's lift these weights. Let's put out some plays. but as always, Jaden was already in the building first. We got to see everybody else who stepped on in. What's his name? Will. What's the dude's name? The safety.
Will Harris.
Will Harris doesn't even look like his old self, because he must have been in the gym this off season.
Yeah.
So he out here looking like a linebacker. So I mean, credit to him. But man, how you feeling about we finally getting back to the gym and getting active this whole entire off season?
Man, I always feel like this is a pretty important milestone for the off season, especially for last year, because this is the beginning of us starting to get that taste out of our mouth, right?
Yeah.
Like last year was so rough, because it was this time last year where the excitement of the season that had just passed was really starting to sink in. And that's when the expectations started. Like, oh my God, we're Super Bowl contenders. You know, we just traded for Deebo Samuel. We ended up, I think we had just traded not too long before then for Laramie Tunzel. And so all of a sudden now you're looking at all of these moves that have been made, and a team that just won 12 games went all the way to the NFC Championship game, and we were riding high, and we didn't know it, but we were right on the precipice of the Terry debacle that was going to unravel this season before it even had a chance to get started. Because remember, Terry showed up for phase 1 and left at the end of phase 2, right?
Yeah.
And then we didn't see Terry again until late August. So this year the vibes are totally different. Everybody's on the same page. The Laramie deal is done already. Terry's all smiles. We have no contractual issues. This feels a lot like 24 did, right? Where it's breath of fresh air. It's brand new because we have 2 new coordinators, so 2 new play callers, and the expectations are low. Right, they're not as low as they were in 24, but they're not as high as they were last year. We're kind of under the radar, so to speak. So this feels like the beginning of us turning the page from last year. And we said this all offseason. This is a big year for Peters and Quinn. Quinn more so than Peters because I don't think Peters is going anywhere no matter how this goes. But Quinn absolutely can and will be fired, if things don't turn around over the next 2 years. And this is a big year. He put his neck out there basically by going out and hiring 2 coordinators who have never called plays in the NFL.
It's a rookie.
Yeah. And so this is a huge year for everyone involved. And this is, the guys showing up, even though it's phase 1 and it's just, conditioning and weight training. It is, to me, signifying the beginning of this big season for Adam Peters, Dan Quinn, and company.
Most definitely. And it's just, man, I kind of want to, and I understand we got to keep it under wraps and everything. I want to know, like, what type. I mean, they're saying that Blau's going to be keeping it kind of like his version of the Detroit offense, and then we got DJ with his version of the Minnesota defense. So I'm kind of anxious to see how it's going to be, especially like you said, because both of these guys are brand new on the block when it comes to actually being a coordinator. So I mean, obviously, what's the name? DJ had his coordinator at LSU. The defense was pretty good, but the offense was for lack of a better word. And I mean, it was pretty solid. But then I mean, you're the right-hand man on the defense of the what's the name, Minnesota. So I mean, you made the best out of. I mean, shit, I can't even, other than Fabian Moreau, I can't even tell you who were the starting cornerbacks over there. And they were a top 2 passing defense in the league.
Right.
So I mean, I'm anxious to see how it is. I mean, if you could make it work with a shit sandwich. I'm trying to see what it's like. I mean, and then you go ahead and get the pieces on defense. So I'm glad to see that we got those guys coming in the building. They're gonna be doing really big on there too. So yeah, I'm anxious to see. Be sure to tell us what you think in the comment section. Also hit that like and subscribe and hit that bell notification, yo. We got one person in the comments. Real quick, Big E says, Herb, we're in a good spot to where we can go anywhere. But man, besides Love and Styles, I really think Downs would be the biggest impact player we can get. While receiver is better value at 71. I am inclined to agree. There's actually a guy at 71 I want to get, but we're gonna get to that later on. So because we going pretty good on this part right here. But I gotta ask you, man, with the workout session that JD5 and Terry and everybody and Diami was in, man, we could actually possibly see Terry at the slot this year. And I'm starting to think like, okay, if Blau got that offense like Detroit, I mean, you talking about a whole entire Amon-Ra St. Brown situation, and this dude catches at least about 90 to he's only caught 90 no less than 90 receptions every year. So I gotta ask, man, how you feel about Terry being in the slot?
I think you're going to see more of him in the slot this year than in previous years. I still think he's going to be outside as your traditional X. But I've always said that one of the biggest problems with Cliff Kingsbury's offense was that Terry was just at the X on the left side of the formation. And that was partly due to the fact that you're going no huddle, you're going tempo, and it's hard for a receiver to come from this side of the field and then run all the way to the other side of the field. It'd be exhausting. It'd take too long. So you just keep him over there for the sake of time. But it made it easy for defenses to be able to defend Terry, know where he was going to be at all times. And I think this gives him an opportunity. When you see the best receivers in the league, they move around the formation, right? Whether you're talking to Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra St. Brown, it motions. They start out wide, motion into the slot. They are in the slot on this play. They motion out wide. It's just a bevy of movement, just so it's harder for the defense to key in on where they're going to be. It's easy for a defense to bracket a receiver if I know he's just going to be on this side of the formation every time. We can set up a defense that can take him away and make it tough for you to get him the football. So I think this is going to be very beneficial for Terry. And, we've seen him, working on, route running and trying to be a little bit more precise on, how to get open from the inside because he's really done a lot of his damage in the league outside. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see how they use him because Terry isn't Amon-Ra St. Brown. We know that.
No, he's not. But yeah.
He definitely, I think, has a greater skill set than we give him credit for because he just hasn't been able to utilize some of the things that he can do because he really hasn't been given a chance to in Washington.
I mean, when he actually had, and I will never forget, as long as I live, when he's telling the press, yeah, all I've been doing is wind sprints today. That pisses me the hell off because I'm just like, dude, you got one of the top tier wide receivers at the position, and you're not even utilizing it. That pisses me like, dude, what are we doing with this? And to see that Bilal comes out there and say, nah, he's gonna get 10 targets a game, minimum. So I'm like, well, shit, if he's gonna be, and like we said with Rio the other day, he's a slow starter. So I mean, if you get him active, like, hey, I mean, I already know about the screen situation, how we had to do it the last 2 years. But you get him a little like screen or the first one, all right, okay, we're gonna let you just get open, get a slant route, do a comeback route, and do something. Just put the ball in his hands to make sure that he can get active. And then when you go ahead and say, like, hey, we're gonna get you 10 targets a game, all right, cool. I want to see because this is gonna only open up for everybody else. I don't give a damn if it's slot, X, Y, Z, elemental P. I just want him to get the rock so he can go ahead and get active. Because I mean, I'm tired of seeing him on the deep route, and all of a sudden he catches it, and then he getting caught little ankle tap at the end right before he gets in the end zone. Right. I'm like, okay, we wouldn't live for this if he was actually getting active early in the game. But speaking of getting active, man, so apparently the Niners really think that they could go ahead and make this trade work out with Brandon Aayuk. Yeah, I truly don't see this happening because why the hell would you try to get a 7th-round pick away to a person who you don't know, who hasn't played in over 500 days, hasn't come over there, and we don't even know if he's really healthy. You haven't seen any of the footage to say, like, hey, can he run the routes? Can he go up against somebody? Can he even catch? We know that he could drive 102 miles per hour past the stadium. I just, at this point, what do we know? I'm not giving it, and I'm not taking on that $20+ million contract, and I don't know nothing. So what's the deal with the Niners really thinking that they can actually make this trade? Because I think it's a pipe dream at this point. So I gotta ask what you think, man.
Yeah, I think it's more of them wishful thinking, but more importantly, they're being petty. Like they understand the situation. Like
tell me you're petty without saying you're petty.
Yeah, I mean, like they understand this situation. They really have a disdain for Brandon Aayuk and how he's handled this entire situation. And so the last thing they want to do is grant him his wish, which is to be released so he could join the Washington Commanders and his best friend in Jaden Daniels. So they're holding on to him. They're going to hide behind the excuse of, well, we're trying to extract some kind of value for him. If we can get something for him, you know, we don't want to just give him like you said, who's trading for that contract? Obviously, you can rework the contract after you trade for him, but who's doing that? Who's looking to inherit that when they know you've said on multiple occasions that he's more than likely played his last snaps, you know, in San Francisco. So why would anybody give you anything for him, knowing the situation? To your point again, the man hasn't played football since October of 2024. We don't know what he is physically right now. Hell, we don't even know what he is mentally right now.
So, I mean, the pictures on his birthday just look like, hello, darkness, my old friend. This is just like he's in. I'm praying. I'm hoping that the guy really is good. I'm joking, but I'm also serious. Like, dude, he looks like he's in the Twilight Zone. Like, real, we got to get him out there. Like,
pictures were definitely, and they were something to behold. Like, it was an acquired taste. for sure. Like what? You worry about him. I don't know him personally, so I can't say I worry about him. But just look from afar, you see the things that he's done, and you look at some of the posts, and you just like none of this makes any sense. So there's a lot of questions, not enough answers for a team to want to deal anything for him, let alone inherit the contract. So I think the 49ers, they know good and well they're not getting anything. And Lynch has basically said, we know it's a long shot that we'll get something for him. They're just holding on to him because they can.
I just hope that ain't nobody like Cincy just does some dumb shit like this. Just
what the beauty is,
we gonna get in on Cincy in a minute, but go ahead.
The beauty of the situation is Aayuk basically has the power to veto any trade. He doesn't have a no trade clause, but his contract is such that he would have to agree to do a restructure, right? He would have to agree to renegotiate his deal. And if he doesn't want to play for a team, he could just be like, "No, I'm not doing that."
I'm good player.
Exactly.
But also, I gotta ask you this too, man. I mean, so Jordan Tyson had a pretty damn good workout this week. I mean, he's regarded as the best wide receiver in the draft. We just we're iffy about his injuries. And I mean, with that workout that you just seen, I want to know, man. So you making that pick at 7? I mean, is he worth it? Or should we trade back to go ahead and get him?
So I personally would not take any receiver at 7 in this draft, including Tyson, even though I think his talent suggests he is worthy of the 7th overall pick. I don't think any other receiver in this draft can lay claim to that. But the injury history cannot be ignored. And with the history that we have with guys having injuries here at Washington, it's hard for me to stomach taking a guy like Jordan Tyson, who has torn his ACL, MCL, PCL, has had a collarbone injury, and then this year dealt with nagging hamstring injuries. He's dealt with injuries just about almost every year of his career. That's not something I want to sign up for. He could come to the NFL and be injury-free for the next 7-8 years. But the likelihood is, if you're going off his track record, that's not going to happen. He's going to get injured. And I'm not interested in spending the 7th overall pick on a guy that may not be available. The best ability is availability.
So, yeah.
That's my biggest issue with Tyson. He looked good. And everybody can look good in April. It's when we get to October and you've taken some hits, is that hamstring gonna hold up? Is that collarbone gonna hold up? You make one of those crazy cuts we saw at his workout.
Man, and it was actually talking about, like, I think it was a doctor who came in. It was like, I mean, he's not gonna last this long if he's making cuts like this with his left knee. I'm like, after last year, I need to see if you're not on the injury list, player. So I mean, but
I mean, those were violent cuts he was making.
And we talking about practice. So I mean, it's just like But I did want to get into this real quick because I saw Commander Kings the other day, how what's the name last week, how basically Ed was like, man, fuck that. I'm not making any trades to any what's the name? NFC East team whatsoever. I'm already scoring about what they did with the Eagles a couple years ago. I'm not making it. But I did see that you guys actually were talking about the about Dallas with their 2 picks. And then again, thinking about with the Hornets situation with the Giants just getting their 2 picks. My question is this, because I presented this to Rio, so I got to go ahead and present it to you. When y'all was talking about the 12th and the 20th with Dallas, draft scenario like this, I need to know. All right, so I was talking to my coworker as we was watching the show, and he brought up the fact, so what you want for 7? I'm saying, okay, first things first, I need that draft tax coming off the top. But also, I'm looking at it like, hey, I need a receiver. You give me Crash Out King, George Pickens. Give me that number that next year's first round draft pick. And that's all I said in the beginning. But now that I got to put that stank on it with that, it's because I feel like it with the draft tax. I need what's the name? A number 2 second round pick for this year. What's your thoughts on that? Should you go with that trade, or do you, or mix it another way that you feel like you need to go ahead and make that pick? Because number one, we're already crippling their receiving core. We get next year's draft pick, which is going to be phenomenal, and for a first round pick next year, and we taking that second round pick because we definitely need one.
So I would start by saying there's no way in hell Dallas would do that deal. They are absolutely not giving you all of that to come up from either 12 or 20. They reportedly would be interested in giving up 12. They don't want to give up 20. So if they're moving, like if you were completely giving up 7 and like not swapping out, so they would get 7, have 12 and 20. Then you could get into a situation where you're getting next year's 1, you get this year's 2. I still think if that's what you probably could in a situation get a George Pickens in that deal as well, because you're completely moving out of the first round. So
you gotta give me something, because I mean, first things first, you asking your rival to go again. So I'm not gonna give you just the easy work. You gotta give me something.
Right.
So
it'd be interesting. The thing that you have to take into consideration from the Commander's perspective would be that you have to pay George Pickens, right? He's on a franchise tag. He wants a long-term deal, so you would have to pay him. So that's something that you would have to take into consideration as a part of the deal, knowing that I'm trading for this guy, but I also have to pay him. So and he wants to be paid like one of the best receivers in football. Like. So there's a lot of moving parts with that. And like you said, you're dealing with a divisional foe. So there's like, do you really want to give them the 7th pick in the draft? Because they're clearly, if they're getting rid of Pickens, they're probably coming up here to get Jordan Tyson. Do you want to give them Jordan Tyson?
Then again, I mean, we don't know his injury history, right? So I mean,
if he stay healthy, though, like you just gave them the best receiver in the draft. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta. It's like, do you really want to do that or not? And so there's a lot of different ways you can spin it. You can look at it. I generally, when it comes to the draft, you try to stick to the script. So I probably wouldn't be trading for Pickens personally. If I were going to go that route, I would pick up the phone and call Jacksonville and try to get Brian Thomas.
That's too.
You know what I mean? If I'm going to try to, in that way, I'm not dealing with somebody in the division. I'm getting a guy that is, and not that Pickens is older, but he's a younger player.
Yeah,
and he's still on a rookie.
I think deal. he's only 25 at this point too. So I mean, that's that's what you want. You want a super young guy going into the prime of his career. So not that Pickens, like I said, is old, but Brian Thomas Jr. is super young. And So looking at the comments real quick, Dallas wants Tyson or Styles. So we'll see what they do. And also Dallas trades 12 and 20 to KC for 9 and 29. That's something to think about too.
Shuffling the deck.
Yeah, man. I mean, and shout out to Ball and Burgundy podcast. We're gonna be doing the show tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that one real quick. But before we go any further, we got to pay some bills with W.
So let me fill you in on W. W is a powdered energy drink that replaces other inferior caffeine beverages. It contains 0 maltodextrin, 0 fillers, 0 artificial colors or dyes, and is no proprietary blends. The star of the show is our caffeine fruit extract, which helps you focus with no jitters or no crashes. Can't even front, man. This is a pretty tasty beverage. I recommend that you go online to w.com to go ahead and get your own shaker bottle, your own Japanese energy blend that they have on here. This one, Japanese yuzu, like I said before. You can go on and get different type of flavors that they have on there and go ahead and order yours. And here's the thing, when you go on there, go ahead and type in the promo code ODBHTTC for 10% off on all your products.
Shout out to W. Go and get secure the dub with W. Go online, get 10% off by putting in the promo code ODBHTTC for 10% off on all your products. So, it's one more time before we get into the big news and everything. Shout out to Big E. He says, "What about double trade back if we're trading back?" So, I mean, you gotta elaborate. So who we trading with, man? How much are we trading back? Because I don't have a problem trade. I've gotten better, more. I've allowed myself to think outside the box as far as like, hey, because I truly feel like if you go ahead and get the number 7, any top 10 pick, you deserve it because you were ass last year. So my thing is this: I need what we giving up, because I mean I definitely need a set, because first things first, trading and not having that second and fourth is taxing. But for Laramie Tunsil, I'll make that trade again and again, because you're talking about a top 5, really top 3 left tackle in the league. And I mean, other than Silverback, I don't know anybody better. And I mean, I give a shout out to Tristan Wirfs, but I think he's better than Wirfs. So trading back, I mean, Big E. What you think as far as who would you trade back with, Louie?
I think the best scenario for the Commanders would be Kansas City at 9. You're hoping that Kansas City wants to get in front of New Orleans, whether it's for Mansour Delane, whether it's for Caleb Downs, or even a receiver, whatever Kansas City, is after. You're hoping that the Saints are a team that they see as a threat and want to get in front of, and they hit us up. You only moving back 2 spots. You're not going to get, tremendous value in return for that. So not like 2nd round pick or anything. You probably get a 3rd from them, which I'll take another 3rd round pick. But you're not looking to move too far back. And
Exactly.
So you're still in the top 10. You still, like, if you're going to draft a receiver at 7, you can move back 2 spots and still get probably that same receiver.
Or Mansour Delane too. So I mean,
or whatever position that you're targeting. Again, you're going to know what Kansas City is coming up for, because you're going to ask them when you're trading back, like, what are you coming up here for? Because if they're taking a player that you're interested in, and if you're moving back, you have to have multiple players that you want, like, because you don't know what New Orleans is going to do.
Exactly.
You move back, and there could be one player that you have in mind, and Kansas City's not taking that player. Well, New Orleans could be taking that player. Yep. So you have to have multiple players that you are comfortable taking no matter what happens. You're going to ask the Chiefs who they're taking. That's not one of the guys. And, if you got 2 guys that you feel good about, let's say that it's Carnell Tate and Mekhi Lemon. Well, the Saints could take Tate, and you say, cool, we'll just take Lemon then, right? Or you could say, all right, we're cool with Mansour Delane or taking Caleb Downs, and the Chiefs want to come up to get Carnell Tate. And you say, cool, the Saints take Mansour Delane at 8, and you just take Caleb Downs at 9. Like, it's a good spot to be in if you can trade back, stay in the top 10. You get a quality player, the player that you probably were going to draft at 7 anyway, and you are able to pick up some more capital. To your point, we don't have a 2 or a 4, so you alleviate a little bit of the stress of not having a 2 and a 4 if you can pick up a pick somewhere in that neighborhood, a 2, a 3, or a 4.
Yeah, I definitely am. I just need to know exactly who am I trading with, because if I know that you got 2 picks in the first round, because I mean, if I'm not mistaken, there's 6 teams already out there that has 2 picks in the first round. So I need to have those conversations, because I mean, I know you could give up a little bit more. But then again, people are desperate at some points the way they could go ahead and trade the farm for number 7, and depending on how much you're giving up, I wouldn't mind trading back on there, because I need, because I mean, I'm thinking that, because the first thing I think about is when New Orleans, when Ricky Williams was in the draft, they gave up the farm, and then we had all of their picks. They only had Ricky Williams in that class, and that was it.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like, if you're giving me a king's ransom, I'm not gonna say no. I'm gonna take all that shit and run with it. So I mean, but yeah, but going on further, man. I gotta say, whoever is in Cincy, we gotta have a talk because I gotta run that fade because you gave our division rival
Yeah.
2 top 10 picks, so they can do whatever the hell they want. They can trade up, trade down, get about 6 picks in the first round. So,
It's
so
insane, man.
it's yeah. And to do it for Lawrence, not saying that he's not capable, but I mean he ain't no Aaron Donald either.
That's
So
right.
I mean it's just like wow, y'all really gave up a top 10 pick for Lawrence. And I mean I got actually, man. Like, what's your mindset on that?
Yeah, I was shocked. I ain't gonna hold you. I was like befuddled when I saw that trade, hit my phone. Like, are you serious? They got the 10th pick in the draft for Dexter Lawrence. I remember thinking when he requested a trade that this was going to drag out like the Terry situation did.
Yeah.
And it was going to just throw a whole monkey wrench in John Harbaugh's debut as the Giants head coach. And they nipped that shit right in the bud. But not only did they nip it in the bud, they got immense value for him. And you're just sitting there looking like, they got what for Dexter Lawrence?
Yeah.
And, he's coming off of a pretty, down season last year. He's 28 years old. And, I had to think to myself, why would Cincinnati do this? And, 2 things came to mind. One, and I think the biggest thing is they are trying to appease Joe Burrow. They need to make it as if they're doing something to try and win now, right? I mean, Burrow was talking crazy at the end of last year.
Oh, yeah.
And if he's not there and he's not, locked in, they don't have anything in Cincinnati. They go back to being the Bungles if there's no Joe Burrow.
It's funny that you say because I used to call them that too.
Yeah, they go exactly back to that, and they understand the value of Joe Burrow, and so they made a play at a guy that they feel like can, give them some relevancy on the defensive side, which has been the absolute reason why the Bengals haven't won outside of Burrow not being healthy is the defense. And the second thing for me was like, they don't feel like this draft is that strong.
Yeah.
And so sitting there at 10, they didn't love what they were going to get at the 10th pick. And so they didn't see the value of the 10th pick being greater than that of adding a guy the caliber of a Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah.
So that kind of speaks to this draft because they would not have done this in next year's draft. They would not have given up the 10th pick.
Yeah, especially with that draft class coming out next year going to be fire. And I mean to see that, I mean they secured him at least for another year for what they gave him a 1 year, $28 million, which is crazy to me because you could have just paid that damn money to what's his name, Hendrickson, and then just like the hell are you doing? Like, but it is what it. I mean, Dexter is a little bit younger, so I mean I understand, but I also am like, okay. I'm more so just pissed off. I ain't tripping about the trade. It's more so just you made it with my rival, so it's just like, man, no, we need to have a talk, man. You're gonna be seeing furniture moving around, but we got 25 in the chat. So guys, go ahead and tell us what you think about the whole entire trade with Lawrence and everything, and also be sure to hit that like and subscribe to the channel. I gotta say, man, so. We've been doing, like we said earlier in the show, we have been going over these drafts, who should we pick, who shouldn't we pick, who can we trade back with, also just doing player evaluations and things like that. So I got to ask you, who exactly in this draft, whether it be first, second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever, who has grown on you as a player that's like, we got to pick this guy up because we need him. He's the positional value. He's definitely a player that fits this offense or defense, and we need to get this guy on our team.
So there have been several players that fit in that category for me, where I started out the process and I was like, yeah, I'm good on him. And then as you watch more and more of them, you're like, okay, I see it now. I get it. I will say that Jeremy Bernard, the receiver out of Alabama, was one of those players for me where I was not a big Jeremy Bernard fan going into the process, and then
Mhm.
watching him, I gained a greater appreciation for what he is and the value that he brings to a team and what he could be at the NFL level. Um, I feel that way. I know this might sound crazy, but Mansour Delane, I
Yeah.
was not as high on him initially, um, but as I watched more and more tape, I became more and more comfortable with his game and what he will provide at the NFL level. I do think there
0
are some
touchdowns to
things,
do that for you. Yeah.
man. I mean, he's a really good player. But in college, you got to be careful with these corners because once you get a rep for being really good, teams generally stay away from you. They don't test you.
Mhm.
So you don't have to you cannot give up any touchdowns in college just off the strength of them not targeting you because
Mhm.
you got that reputation of being really good. So they just stay away. They'll target, whoever's the opposite of you. Um, he is a guy that I felt like he's a bit grabby for me down the
Mhm.
field, but I also thought, dudes was routing him up a little bit and creating a little bit of separation. And because quarterbacks weren't even looking his way, guys would
Mhm.
create separation and they just wouldn't get the ball. Like I thought KC Concepcion, routed him up several times and got open, but I'm not throwing the ball at Mansour Delane. So I'm not even looking that way. So it, but I love him in zone. I love his mentality. He's a dog. He tackles. I think he's super aware of route concepts and what offenses are trying to do to him. And so there's so much to like about his game. And so he's another guy that really grew on me throughout this process. I can think of one more guy, the edge rusher Moore out of Michigan.
Mhm.
He was another guy that,
Shout out to Blue.
yeah, I was told he was a good player, and I was like, okay, we'll see, and then I turned on the tape and I was like, okay, I can see the value in him and what he can provide for an NFL team. I like the juice off the edge. I think he's a lot stouter at the point of attack than people give him credit for. I think he's a guy that could be a big fit for a team that, like the Commanders, who have multiple defense where you can, be in an even or an odd front. I think he can fit in both.
Mhm.
He looks like he's more comfortable in the 2-point stance off
Yep.
the edge, but he can definitely put his hand in the dirt. I think he's an interesting guy. Again, I think he's out of our range. I think he will be somewhere in that late second round, early third round. And we're early third round, but I think he will be going just slightly
Mhm.
before we have a chance to pick him. His teammate, Jay Sean, I forgot his last name, but he's interesting too.
Mhm.
Barham, Jay Sean Barham
Mhm.
is interesting as well. But those are two guys in Michigan and a few of the prospects that initially I wasn't as sold on. And then as I watched more, Skylar Bell is another guy I wasn't super
Yep.
high
Yeah.
on. And I've come around on him a little bit more as well. So those are a few that I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, because I definitely, like I said the other day, I'm looking at Zach Branch as another guy. First things first, coming out USC as a five-star recruit. That
Mhm.
that you got that okay, and then he goes and wins the Return of the Year award his freshman year, and then still gives that same heat when he transfers over to Georgia.
Right.
Great, he could be a really good slot receiver. That's something that I was thinking about as well. Another person, Romello Height, who is the on the opposite end with David Bailey in Texas Tech. He definitely gives me another option as far as a pass rushing ability. He's probably going to go third round at the ceiling, second round, floor, third round. So that's somebody who we can. And if we trade back and then possibly pick up our corner, well, I keep forgetting what's the kid's name he's probably gonna be picked by this time. But the kid out of Tennessee from last year, he was hurt last year.
Oh, Jamal
Um,
McCoy.
Jamal McCoy. I think that he's definitely somebody who showed arguably, if he was healthy, he'd probably be the first cornerback off the board. So I mean,
Probably.
but with his health injury, with his injury history, definitely could drop down to the second round. I mean, we seen what happened with what's his name, the kid from Michigan last year,
Will Johnson.
Will Johnson, definitely dropped all the way damn near to the third round
Yeah.
because of his knee injury. So I mean, that's something to think about. So I
Right.
mean, but you guys tell us what you think in the comment section about that, and we're gonna move on to the next one. So I mean, let's just say, Louie, you one of my favorite guys with the Commanders. But one thing I love that this brings us entertainment and is when you crash out. so, so I gotta ask, man, with this draft,
Mm.
we want to think that AP can go ahead and make the best pick available, the best pick for our team.
Yeah.
But what is it that will make you so mad that you're gonna crash out and possibly look at, shout out to the homeboy Kid Blue, because he got pissed off with the Dexter Lawrence trade to the point to where he smashed the computer and the screen went out. So, but I can't.
Wow.
Yeah, that was funny. It's definitely entertaining. But I gotta ask you, what would piss you off with this trade if AP makes a dumb move in the draft?
I don't know if I could get to the point where I was, 2018 with Deron Payne. I don't know if there's anything that he could do in this draft because honestly, they're not going to do anything, reckless to the point where, I'd be that upset. Like, I'll give you an example. Rio was talking about them, people were saying that we might draft an offensive lineman. That's not happening. Right? That's definitely a crash outable offense if they were to draft an offensive lineman in the first round at 7 overall in a draft where there's no elite offensive lineman. I don't see them doing that first and foremost, but if they did, that would be something that would absolutely warrant a crash out. But like them drafting like a Keldrick Falk, for instance, like that would piss me off. They wouldn't do that. Even like now trading back and picking him, I wouldn't be happy about that either. Like I don't want Keldrick Falk at all. So he's this year's Shamar Stewart to me. A guy that you just try to stay away from at all costs, if at all possible. And I think he's a better football player, Keldrick Falk is, with higher upside than Shamar Stewart. But it's still the same in terms of you're not getting any pass rush. He'll stop the run, though. He looks like an elite run defender. But I think I'm going to be disappointed if the thing that would probably make me the most upset is if Jeremiah Love is on the board and we don't take him. I think that's the thing. I don't think I would like crash out necessarily, but you would get me excited only to let me down at that point. Because I already said if he gets past the Giants at 5, I'm going off. Like I'm gonna be off the rails, bro. Because now he's getting to 7 unless somebody comes out of left field and trades up to the Browns at 6 and takes him in front of us, which ain't nobody trading up for a running back. At least I don't think. I shouldn't say ain't nobody doing it because.
But even you're just looking at what you're saying. I don't see anybody picking him because the what's the name? The Browns already picked their running back last year.
Right.
The Chiefs already got their running back with the Super Bowl MVP. New Orleans already got ATN. Even if Dallas trades up, they already got their running back. So I mean, I don't see anybody picking up Love at all. So the only thing I would say, as far as for me, if Love is there and you don't pick him, Styles better be there for you not to pick him.
Right.
So and here's the thing, I'm not tripping off of Styles because Styles is actually, or Caleb Downs, any one of those 3 on the board. I'm not crashing out at all. But if he's on that board and you trade back it better be a goddamn good ass trade back in order to get. I mean, you got automatically. He makes you the number one. He's the best player, period, in the draft. You go ahead and then and not only that, but he's so good at just running the ball. He literally has a highlight film of hurdles to where he could have played in. He could have ran what's the name, ran track.
Yeah,
Possibly gone to the Olympics with all those those hurdles and everything. I mean, and automatically he makes you. He's the best second. He's the second best receiver on the team. I mean, shout out, what's his name? Our tight end. And I keep butchering his name. Chiggy. He's automatically the third best receiver on the team. And I mean, we got our second best one is the running back. So I mean, and then you can possibly go back in the third round and pick up a receiver too. Yep. So yeah, but yeah, man. I mean, before we go head out, man, because I mean, it's been a great show today. Draft day is going to be tomorrow, so I gotta ask you, man, what do you have planned from when you open up your eyes on draft day, look into the sky, and say, man, it's beautiful today. Draft day has come upon us. Up until that actual pick at 7 is being made. What's your plans for tomorrow, bro?
Oh man, boy. First of all, I will be so excited that, to your point, it is finally here and shit is over. All of the conversation, all of the speculation, all of the redundancy will be done, right? I'm going to get fresh tomorrow, I'm gonna get my hair done, gonna get, edge up, go get clean, go get my pizza, go get my wine. I'm getting everything that I need to be ready.
You got the cookies, man? You got the cookies, man? Because I mean,
no, I'm not gonna make
them joints was fire, bro.
No. I've been eating the cookies like all week, so I was like, I gotta chill out on the cookies. Well, last weekend, so I'm like, I gotta chill out on the cookies, but I'm gonna have my pizza, I'm gonna have my wine, and I'm gonna definitely be ready to roll. And I can't wait to see this is one of the most exciting drafts because nobody actually knows what's gonna happen. Nobody knows what the hell is gonna happen on Thursday night. Like, it's so much drama because like there are no quarterbacks, there are no tackles, there are no this guy's going 1, this guy's going 2, this guy's going 3, and then the draft starts at 4. It's like Mendoza's going at 1. We pretty much know the Jets are either going Bailey or Reese, but we don't know which one. Exactly. And the decision that they make could set off chain reaction, right? Because if they go Bailey, now Reese is available, and there's rumors that teams are interested in trailing up for Arvell Reese. You can see a trade as early as 3. And if you do get a trade, that's where a lot of people think Jeremiah Love is going to go, is 3 to the Cardinals. Well, if the Cardinals trade out of the pick and the team coming up is to get Arvell Reese, then the Titans don't take him at 4. And let's say the Giants are hell-bent on taking Tyson or, Sonny Styles or whatever. All of a sudden now you're in a position where Jeremiah Love could fall to you at 7, right? So anything could happen. I'm so excited. I can't wait for it.
Yeah. Me tomorrow. One of my best friends, he unfortunately lost his family member, so I'll be there tomorrow. Pay respect to his family. So shout out to them.
Condolences.
I'm debating because I work night shift, so I mean, if I can squeeze out, because that Michael Jackson movie is supposed to be coming out tomorrow, so I might catch a matinee with that.
Yeah.
Or I just might catch up on my sleep. Yeah. Definitely gonna get some wings to go along with this. I still got all the drinks from Sunday because I watch wrestling, so we was watching WrestleMania this weekend. So definitely got the drinks on deck. Probably gonna pick up some wings. Go ahead and chill out. Gonna have a pod going tomorrow with the guys over at Burgundy Breakdown. So shout out to those guys. We gonna definitely have a good time on there. Shout out to Gerard B, my homie Rick. We gonna be on there. It's gonna be live tomorrow, man. And I mean, and like you said yesterday, man, we don't know what the hell is gonna happen, and that's the beauty. That's the thing. Don't even know we're talking about the draft,
right?
Nobody, we don't sit there and look at the MLB draft. Other than the first lottery picks, We don't pay attention to the NBA draft.
Right.
We literally are going to be sitting here watching. Okay, so what the hell is going to happen in the top 10? And then even after the top 10 is over,
Yeah.
the rest of the damn draft is going. It literally at number two. Number two could fuck up the whole situation for the whole entire night. And that's the beauty of the NFL draft. I mean, we literally are shaping our lives around talking about football. We've been talking football for the last 55 minutes. And I mean, like I'm just ready for it to be over with, but I'm also ready to see. I'm ready to see. I want to see chaos.
Yeah.
And
you're going to get it. You're going to get it.
And here's the thing. I mean, you look at what happened a couple years ago with Atlanta trading up to get a quarterback. Mm-hmm. We did not think that Penix was going to get picked up. So anything could literally happen.
That's right.
I mean, somebody's going to be a dumbass tomorrow and pick up some guy that we're going to be like, huh?
I mean, last year you had the Jaguars trade all the way up to 2 to take Travis Hunter. Remember, the Browns were the second pick in the draft, and Hunter, they traded up to get him. Nobody saw that coming. So, and you could have another situation like that where somebody, Arvell Reese gets to 3, and Arizona clearly is looking to get out. You can see another big time blockbuster deal, and all of a sudden you got a crazy draft on your hands. Like you said, all it takes is one team to throw a monkey wrench in this whole entire thing.
Most definitely. Shout out to Gabe, HTCC. Next stop, NFL draft. Yeah, most definitely, man. Louie, man, it's been a pleasure having you on, man. Please tell the people where they can find you, man.
Hey, I appreciate you having me on, man. It's always a pleasure to come up here and chop it up with you, Herb. You can find me on YouTube, Louie Tee Network. You basically type in Louie Tee Network anywhere on YouTube, on X, on IG. I'm gonna pop up. It's obviously Commanders Kings on YouTube as well. We got a live stream coming up tonight. So, if you ain't doing nothing tonight, pull up. We're going to have a lengthy draft discussion. Obviously, we're going to do a mock draft, the final one before the actual draft happens. And, just a lot of discourse about this draft. We've talked so much about it the last basically 3 months, and it's finally coming, to a head. And I'm looking forward to seeing all of the hard work that a lot of us have put in. Obviously these prospects have put in to position themselves, but shit, we put in a lot of work following this draft, talking about all of the different scenarios and what we think are going to happen, watching these guys to try to get more familiar with what they can provide. So it's been a lot of work, and it all culminates in tomorrow night and really the entire weekend, but tomorrow night in particular, because it's been a long time coming, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I always enjoy the draft. I always do.
Most definitely, man. It's been a pleasure having you on. Guys, like I said every single time, we had at the max 27 people in the chat. Appreciate every single one of y'all that was in there. Just put in shout out to Big E, shout out to Gabe, Ballin' and Burgundy, Case Take. Shout out to all of y'all who was in the Crash that was in the comment section. Appreciate every single one of y'all that was in here making it active today. Shout out to everybody who's watched the whole entire 58 minutes of this program. Be sure to, before you roll out, because I know it was all y'all was in here, hit that like, hit the comment section if you're watching this post, so we can go ahead. Tell me, me and Louie Tee are wrong. Tell me that we're right. Tell me that I don't give a damn what you think. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you can be abreast of what's next on Off the Bench. Also, guys, you already know how we end this. Help us grow so we can do more. Left hand up, who are we? The Commanders. Peace.